coming up. So don't even think about switching over to football. This is Kevin Harlan with Doris Burke, Steve Kerr, and Clark Kellogg. The Pacer fans are making noise here in downtown Indianapolis, Indiana. Here are your starting lineups brought to you by State Farm. And guys, taking a look at Dwayne Wade, what will we see from him?
Well, when you talk about players, Kevin, who can break down defenses off the dribble and create their own offense, to me, Dwayne Wade is at the top of that list.
Yeah, you know what? He's a crevice encroacher. In other words, he can get to places you don't think he can get to. This guy gets through cracks and crevices and finishes at the rim with a high degree of success and difficulty as well. He's special in that regard.
Now here's Hibbert. Hits the jump hook. Hibbert's got the game going here with the first basket for the Pacers.
Well, you look back at some of the drafts that the Pacers have had and pieces they've been able to add. They've done a nice job. Boy, Hibbert, of course, Paul George. They've really done a good job of developing talent from the draft and making some shrewd moves that have built the foundation for this club.
And that one falls for Bosch. But going back to the Pacers, it isn't always easy to build up from the draft if you're not in the top 5, like Oklahoma City. They've been drafting in the top 5, and their core best players were taken between 1 and 5, and so they've accelerated so quickly. But they really have made some good choices in Indianapolis. I mean, it's really admirable how they've gone.
They've done a terrific job. Paul George, one of those players that they had their eye on and took, and he was a big part of last year's team, and the Pacers front office really has been on a pretty good roll with draft choices and building this team through the draft. You know, once he corralled that rebound, he was in just the right spot to power it back down.
And you could see it coming too, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, there's no way that was going to be a simple little putback. He saw the angle and he gave it a little something extra.
Now here's Hibbert. Hill, he's guarded by Battier. Down low, it's tipped. Hill dishes to Hibbert. So he gets the whistle. Contact on the way up, and 2 shots coming up.
And for Roy Hibbert, no player has improved any more than he has. Having watched him from college at Georgetown until now, you've got to be impressed with his dedication to remake himself athletically. It didn't come easily for him. When he arrived in college, he couldn't do 10 push-ups, Kevin. They said he had to learn to run. He's done a tremendous job to add mobility, strength, and confidence to his game. Mobility and strength to that big frame of his.
That's a great story.
It is. How's that for an encore after the offensive board?
That's the only way he knows how to do it. Monster stuff.
Oh, he makes life miserable down around the paint for anybody who's trying to box him out.
Well, Doris, an interesting game. Moments ago, you had a chance to talk with head coach Frank Vogel. What do you have to say?
We talked about the strategy as it applies to D. Wade. He said Dwayne can score at will when he gets into a rhythm. So our job is going to be prevent him from getting into that rhythm in the first place. Because if we can't do that, the points will just pile up. Most opponents are completely aware of that, guys.
All right, Doris, thank you very much.
Well, that's what he does. He's going to fight and battle on the offensive glass all night.
George, Wade is covering. And George kicks to Hibbert. He's up against Bosch. Hibbert, the pass to Hill. Gets to the rim for 2 with the D all over him. Hill's got his first 2 points. And for Roy Hibbert, and you just told me this the other day, Clark, he had to go through a diagnosis for asthma, which they did not know about until he went and had some thorough tests taken, and they addressed that. And he's mentioned before he hit the weights, he lifts all year long. Steve, he's been a wonderful project that has now blossomed into this rising star at that position.
Well, you love what he's done, Kevin, because at Georgetown, he really couldn't move. He was heavy, he couldn't run, but he's done so much physically, nutrition-wise, conditioning-wise. He's even added a personal chef to cook his meals, and you can see it now in his physique and the way he's performing. He's become a big-time player. Not the best shot, long range, and with a defender right in his space.
And defensively, that's the kind of work he's known for. I mean, he loves to lock you up.
Battier's shot, good.
They are in attack mode right now. That's 10 straight points, guys, all coming inside the paint.
And Steve, if I'm them, I'd keep going right into the heart of that defense like they have been until they do something about it. If they don't offer resistance, take everything you can get in there.
Here's LeBron. That's good. LeBron's now got 8 points. Pacers trail by 7. Outside Hill. From past the arc. Rebound by the Heat. Chalmers dishes to Bosch. Goes up to the stripe. It's rebounded by Roy Hibbert. The Pacers have gone 4 of 7 from the field, shooting over 50%. LeBron against George. With the shot. Indiana again missing.
The defense did a pretty good job of closing off the middle once he got inside the lane.
Left side Bosch. Can't get it to go.
A very rough quarter for him as not much is falling right now. You know, the Miami Heat are relatively young as a team in terms of NBA history. Joined the league in 1988, but really hit the ground running and has been a force in the East since they became part of the league. You know, it is really hard to miss shots that close to the basket.
Lobs it up there. And finished off by LeBron.
What a play. No regular dunk there. A superb alley-oop.
And it was a great pass, too, to set him up.
Well, those two have such a great feel for each other. They're just fun to watch play together.
Well, you look at the Heat, you take away the first 3 years of the franchise as they were building from scratch. Since 1991, they have only missed the playoffs 5 times. Steve, I think that's an amazing stat.
Yeah, the franchise quickly came in and established itself way back as one of the tougher opponents to deal with in the East. They've done a nice job of establishing themselves as a model organization in the NBA over the years.
And Miami calls their first time out of the game. So Indiana ends up with a new group on the floor. And a new group in for the Heat. Udonis Haslem, he's checked in for Bosch. Beasley comes in for Shane Battier. Ray Allen, he's checked in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Norris Cole in for Mario Chalmers.
I thought Miami made one of the steals of the draft last year when they took Norris Cole, 28th out of Cleveland State. He got off to a hot start. He kind of leveled off as the season went on. Like a lot of rookies, I think fatigue became a factor.
The Heat with the lead. Allen outside. The pass to Beasley. Back to Allen. Good ball movement here by the Heat. Takes it up. And the dunk by LeBron.
Tell you what, whether there's an opening or not, this guy's going to attack the rim regardless.
The Pacers have gone 7 of 11 from the field to begin the game.
And Steve, as you mentioned, for Norris Cole, he tailed off a bit, but nonetheless, you know, he got valuable minutes throughout the season and made a nice contribution as the season went on. But nonetheless, he played valuable minutes and contributed as a rookie on an elite championship caliber team, and certainly that has to be encouraging.
He feeds it to Beasley. Over Scola. Cannot hit. Excellent D there for Scola. Pacers trail by 6. The dish to Watson. From deep. Sinks it. What range from outside. Wow. Watson's got 6 points.
That's now 6 straight points off open threes. Get a hand up, fellas. Pay attention to the scouting report.
Well, you know how quickly things can go south when you start giving up wide open looks to this team.
Latrey. Cole with the rebound. And now here comes Cole, leading the break. James sinks that one from the post. 14 points for him.
Well, everyone seems to have the hot hand here early on.
You know, if they keep up this scoring pace, we'll definitely see some big point totals from both of these teams.
All right, the scoring fast and furious as we enter
your Pacers.
All right, the second quarter beginning in just a moment. And let's quickly break down the game we've been seeing from the Heat, guys.
And they're really keying in on getting as many good shots inside the lane as possible. They're doing a nice job of not just settling for outside looks.
Yep, I agree. I mean, they're working it inside and doing it with intention and purpose.
So with Bosch on the bench, this is who Eric Spoelstra has on the floor. Chalmers is out there with Allen. Then there's Chris Anderson. Then there's Lewis. And it's Oden in at the 5 down low. And let's catch up with our sideline reporter, Doris Griffin. Doris, over to you.
Well, guys, Pacers center Roy Hibbert has trained with Tim Duncan over the last few off seasons, and they've become friends. they stay in touch, and Duncan even offered him advice and encouragement when the Pacers were in the playoffs. Hibbert said, "I had a roller coaster first 3 years in terms of my career. Tim doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. I model my game after him. He's somebody who looks out for me." Guys, always great to see a star take a young man under his wing.
Hard to think of a better mentor for Roy than the great Tim Duncan. Thanks, Doris. And the basket by Scola. Quarter number 2. We're about a minute in. Pass to Chalmers. It's back to Battier. Pacers with the rebound.
You know, when you look at Miami last season, what they tried to do was get away from shooting all the three-point shots and get LeBron and Wade down near the block. And I thought that was important. The shot selection was much better. They got out and ran a lot more, and they used that athleticism to their advantage.
The Heat leading by 8. And Chalmers kicks to Anderson. He dishes it to Lewis. Pulls it from the elbow. Hits the bucket. Lewis has got his first 2 points of the night. Look at the athletes in Miami, and they can be just downright scary if they're getting up and down the court on you. I mean, you really just got to duck.
You know what, Kevin? It's not just guys that can run. It's guys that can finish and run with Wade and LeBron. And those two, in and of themselves, I mean, they're a dynamic duo. I think playing the way they did last year, let them take full advantage of their personnel. They actually thrive being in the open court, and that's really how they tried to play most of the time.
And the Pacers with possession here. It's a 10-point game. Scola left side. Quarter 2 and just under 2.5 minutes gone by. Wade drives in. Gets it to go. Wade's got 4 points now in the quarter.
And all these turnovers have left their defense really vulnerable.
Yeah, no time to get set, Steve, and they've given up a lot of buckets that way.
And stolen by Watson. Gets it to go.
This is an outstanding job there to absorb the contact and guide it in.
That's how you impose your will against the defender. He can't even play.
The Pacers have had 2 chances at the line already, making them both.
Around a year ago, they converted about 78% of their free throws as a team, so pretty solid there.
And you can't take those numbers lightly, fellas. I mean, their free throw shooting made a difference for them in a lot of their games last season.
Mahimi no good on the free throw.
Well, if you were following the Pacers like I did last year, Kevin, you knew that they'd be a tough team to play in the playoffs. Built for the playoffs. Size, strength, and depth. And that certainly proved to be the case. They made a good showing in their playoff run.
Scola sets a screen for Johnson.
Kick it out! Kick it out!
Outside for George. Indiana moving it around. Clock at 6. In low to Scola. That drops. Scola's got his second basket of the night. Well, the Pacers dispatched the Magic with such ease that it turned some heads. But, Steve, I know they knew the real challenges would lie ahead in the later rounds, like that physical series they had in round 2 against Miami. In fact, I think you did one of the games, game 5, down in South Florida.
Yeah, I was down there, Kevin. That was a great series. And the Pacers, they led that series 2-1. Looked like they had Miami on the ropes before Wade and LeBron kicked it into gear and ended up winning that series in 6. But I think it bodes well for Indiana, just how well they played in the regular season and giving Miami all they could handle in the playoffs.
George. Right side George. And there are the Pacers with another bucket.
You're going to have a heck of a time finding any flaws in his approach to the game offensively.
Cole, the pass to Allen. Here's Bosch. And he lays it straight in. Bosch has got 7.
And they're struggling a little bit on the glass. They've got to pick up their physical play in the paint.
Yeah, it's about being tougher and more physical, just as you said, Steve. If they can do that better, they've got a chance to come back.
Both teams will make substitutions. And that one falls for Bosch.
Well, this guy has a huge bag of tricks that he can dip into on the low block. He's really mastered an array of complicated moves.
And that makes him a splendid, supreme scoring threat in the post. I mean, he baits the hook, and the defenders almost always are biting. It's a beautiful thing to watch. Well, after he threw that one down, he felt free to hang around for a little while.
A little extra emphasis at the end.
Yeah, you got to be careful, too, on that. It's used to be an automatic technical foul. They'll still call it at times, but... ridiculous.
Tore it down that time. Man, oh man, finishing with flavor.
Yeah, he put something extra on that one. You're right.
And the bench going wild, guys. They love it. What an amazing dunk.
You know, the Pacers as a franchise had a slow start when they joined the NBA in the mid-'70s, but from the 90s until today, Kevin, they've been a pretty consistent presence in the playoffs.
Here's what Miami's going with right now. Shane Battier is checked in for Bosh. Wade comes in for Ray Allen. And it's Chalmers in for Norris Cole. There's the feed to Wade. And it's blocked.
2 minutes. 2-1.
Now here is Hill. Backing down is Hibbert. Outside for George. Will it go? Oh! And it's good. George has got 9. Yeah, you're right, Clark. Some great teams those Pacers had in the 90s. Still, the team is looking for the first title, Steve, in the NBA. They
had multiple ABA titles.
Exactly. Good point. And Steve, they're trying to do it now in this league.
Well, they've been close, but they just haven't been able to get over the hump. A little bit like the Phoenix Suns in the West. You know, 2 franchises that have been very, very good, but just haven't been able to win the big one.
Let's go to our sideline reporter, Doris Burke. Doris, what do you have?
Guys, the Miami Heat in their present incarnation have lacked that dominant shot-blocking big man in the middle, but they still have been one of the league's elite defensive teams. Last season, they tweaked their defensive philosophy to try to force more turnovers and enable them to get out and run. As Eric Spoelstra said, we wanted to play more to our athleticism and our activity. And LeBron added, Coach just wants us to be disruptive. We're just trying to use our instincts to create more turnovers. Because we know if we create more turnovers, then it's off to the races. Kevin?
Doris, turnover is a great way to start a break, and they're dynamite in transition. On the wing, Battier. Back to Chalmers. Releases from 15, and the rebound goes to the Pacers. Hill with it. Wade picks him up. Hill dishes to Stevenson. Passes it to Hibbert.
Kick it out! Kick it out!
And with that one, the lead is trimmed to single digits. Hibbert's got 6 here in this quarter. Chalmers against George. Here's Chalmers. Back to LeBron. Dishes to Chalmers. Pulls it up. Yes, and it's LeBron picking up the assist. Chalmers has got his second basket of the night. He gets it up. No luck. And that does it for the first half of play. It's the
Pacers. Now, presented by Sprint. 54.
Good evening. The halftime break is upon us, and let's get right to the first half recap. Miami up on top against Indiana. They haven't settled on tough shots. They're taking it strong inside. They're getting quality shots and a lot of quantity of those quality shots. Through 2 quarters, LeBron in complete control. Seems like everything's falling for him. Not sure if he even knows how to miss. Not the same story, though, for the Pacers. The story of turnovers hasn't been a good one for them so far. It's really hurt to this point. Too casual with their possessions. George Hill has not had a good showing. Not many positives for him so far. Just 1 bucket from the floor. And that's all there is to it. Thanks so much for spending halftime with me. Now it's time to send you back out for the start of the third quarter.
And as we begin the second half, first half wasn't even close, guys, and we'll see if there is a comeback on our hands or more of the same as we get the third quarter started. What can you say? LeBron James, what an impressive effort today.
Well, we know he can score, so it's not really a huge shock to see him put up these kind of big numbers.
And I would think that he most likely will continue to carry on this kind of play into the fourth.
Well, we've got a moment. Let's set the floor. Brought to you by Gatorade, all fueled up for the second half. On the court right now for the Pacers. West and Hibbert are up front. Hill and George, they're manning the backcourt. And it's Stevenson in at the 3.
Yeah, you know, a lot of people aren't aware of this, but Eric Spoelstra's father was once the general manager of the Portland Trailblazers. And Eric went on to play at the University of Portland, had a nice career there before hooking on with the Miami Heat. He's been with the organization for a long time.
And Wade slams it in.
Well, that certainly sent a ripple through the crowd.
And alley-oop always does that. One of the most beautiful plays you'll see in all of basketball. Yeah. It's impossible not to be impressed.
Yep, very exciting play to see that.
Especially when it ends with that big slam like that one.
And for Coach Spoelstra, Steve, as you mentioned, family ties in the business of basketball. He's been around it since he was a little guy.
Yeah, he knew relatively early on in his life that he wanted to stay around the game. You know, after college, he played a couple of seasons professionally in Germany, and then ended up at the age of 25 working as an intern for the Heat as a video coordinator. So quite a climb for Eric Spoelstra.
George against Wade. Right block shot, and the Pacers tack on 2 more.
It's been all makes for him so far this half. 3 chances and 3 conversions so far.
LeBron against Hill. Battier kicks to Chalmers. Good ball movement here by the Heat. The shot by Bosch. That's good, and so Chalmers with the assist. And that's 10 points for Chris Bosch.
Well, you can imagine when you have the players the Heat have, and LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, who can finish at the rim like those guys do, you're going to have a very high shooting percentage, or at least you should, and that was definitely the case for them.
Ray Allen, he's checked in for Miami. Back to what you said, Clark. The Heat shot a little bit worse as a team last year than the year before, but still finished in the top 5 in the league. So Steve's still an offensive powerhouse.
Yeah, mainly because of the talents of LeBron and Wade. That opens up a lot of three-point looks for their teammates. And, of course, in transition, that's a devastating duo. It's almost an automatic dunk when they make a steal or get a long rebound. Something has to change, guys. That's 10 straight points coming in the paint against this team.
Well, they got to collapse in there, and everybody's got to be conscious of it. It's a team effort in protecting the paint. Control the ball, and then everybody's got to get in there and keep the defense locked down. Throwing it down with one hand and making it look easy.
Easy and fun. He just thrives on making the D look silly.
Yeah, which is something he does pretty often, Kevin. Well, LeBron James winning his 3rd MVP in 4 seasons last year. By the numbers anyway, far and away the best player in the league, averaging around 27 points, 8 boards, 6 assists, almost a walking triple-double.
George passes to Hill. Ray Allen pulls it in.
He just can't get a good feel for his shot at this point. That's one of the reasons they're losing.
And the basket by Chalmers.
Nicely done. They've really attacked effectively in transition.
There's no doubt about it, Steve. Their quickness has given them an advantage. I mean, I've liked the way they've pushed the ball all game.
And going back to LeBron last season, playing the best basketball of his career.
Yeah, and he easily could have won 4 years in a row the MVP trophy, but voter fatigue, I think, does kick in. It's not something people want to hear, but it's a reality. If you ask me, LeBron has been the best in the game for probably 5 or 6 years at least. There's nobody that does what he does on a consistent basis.
And that one's good. LeBron's now got 21.
Boy, he's been so dependable here this game, really playing well offensively.
Backing down is Hibbert. And they get it. And the layup is up and in. He's got 20.
He's done a ton to help his team, guys, and he may have to do more if they're going to come back and win.
The drive by LeBron. Bosch, Wade outside. Feeds it to LeBron.
Oh, my goodness. What a huge play.
Call it hang time and bang time.
Unbelievable.
You got to just shake your head on that one.
Stevenson dishes to West. It's stolen by Allen. Oh, and a fast break for the Heat. LeBron leading the charge.
3 straight buckets in the paint. They're making it look effortless.
Well, speaking of effortless, you'd like to see a little more out of the defense. How about trying, guys?
Backing down is Hibbert. He passes to Stevenson. George from deep three-point range, and it's Miami with the rebound. LeBron's now got rebound number 5 here tonight. Wade misses. Pacers trail by 17. Hill with it. Wade picks him up. Hibbert kicks it to West. Takes it up. And Allen with the block. A minute 20 left here in the third quarter. That's good, and so Chalmers with the assist. Chalmers has got his 8th assist in the game.
One of the great shooters in the history of the game. I mean, Ray Allen is just amazing with that deep range, incredible accuracy, and he can also put the ball on the deck a little bit once or twice, pull up jump shots, get to the foul line. Allen's just one of the most consistent scorers we've had in the game for a long time.
And he's rehearsed motion for so long. It's automatic. I mean, it's something he can do in his sleep. He doesn't even think about the situation or the defender. He eyes his target and lets it fly.
Chalmers past LeBron. Shot denied. West right side. Back to George. And it's out of bounds. The Heat take it the other way.
Boy, they couldn't hook up there on what's really a pretty basic pass.
And the Heat going with the whole new group on the floor. On offense, here are the Heat. They're on an 18-7 run. He kicks it to Beasley. Buried from 15 feet out.
He is so good at working himself into the open spots on the floor inside that three-point line.
Here's George. The Hail Mary from beyond half court is off target. Beasley with it. Lewis on the way. Over Hill, and there's another one for the Heat. 6 seconds left in the third quarter. Here's Hibbert with 1 on the clock. Good!
That builds a little momentum going into the next quarter.
Yeah, you know, you definitely have to make sure you take advantage of that last possession. You don't want to squander that.
The 3 quarters of play all in the books, and this one all but over already. It's the Heat running away with it. And we're just moments away from the start of the fourth quarter. Stay with us. While we're still getting underway here in the fourth, let's go down to Doris Burke, who has our Strike Uncontainable Game Report. Doris?
Hey, guys. Well, it was the stretch by the Heat that garners the uncontainable game today. Something must have been said about defense at halftime because they came out and locked things up in the third quarter. A great effort on D, and it has them sitting pretty here in the fourth.
Thanks, Doris. And guys, when you can put together that sort of streak that builds the momentum in a big way for your team, it's something.
Always, Kevin. I mean, it's impossible for a stretch like that not to influence the outcome of a game.
You know, when you're on the wrong side of a run like that, there's not a whole lot you can do. We'll see soon enough if that's indeed what makes the difference today.
So with Bosch on the bench, this is who Eric Spoelstra has on the floor. Norris Cole and Dwayne Wade combine at guard. Beasley out there with Haslam. And it's Battier in at the 3 slot. Cole's shot is good.
You know, looking around, he knew one of his teammates was going to be open when they hit him with that double team, and he took advantage.
Here's Mahimi. And there are the Pacers with another bucket.
Well, that makes 5 of their last 6 makes coming from inside.
Yeah, really focused on getting the ball into the paint because they're taking advantage of very porous defense down there. Well, I've said before that playing a zone is basically an admission that you're not as good as the other team. But I do like teams that mix it in here and there. Just a small doses of zone to try to keep the offense off balance.
And the Heat making a change here. Chris Bosh is checked in for Haslam. LeBron comes in for Michael Beasley. Ray Allen, he's checked in for Dwayne Wade. And it's Chalmers in for Norris Cole. Here's Stevenson. Good. Stevenson's got 5 points in the quarter. And Steve, to follow up what you were talking about, there is a stigma for going to a zone, but really more and more teams are embracing it.
And I think part of that, Kevin, is that everybody is relying on pick and roll offensively. And pick and roll is so difficult to defend, especially these days with all the three-point shooters teams are putting on the floor. So if you play a zone, it counteracts the pick and roll. And now all of a sudden there's a little chess match going on between the offense and the defense.
Mario Chalmers.
Fourth quarter now. We're about a minute and a half in. Kicks to Mahimi. Goes up and lays it nice and easy.
Been a little too easy for them inside, hasn't it?
Yeah, I think so, Steve. I mean, they've really dictated the action in the paint. That's been their focus, and the defense hasn't mounted much resistance at all. He's going to take that shot every time if he has that much room to get it off.
Watson dishes to Mahimi. So the whistle blows on the shot, and 2 free throws for the contact right there.
Shooting for Indiana.
Well, Mahimi, a pretty good finisher around the rim. He's got length and athleticism. A lot of his shots during his career have come on dunks and layups, but he's added a mid-range jump shot as well, expanding his game.
And Mahimi, for his career, finishes at the rim at about 70%.
Not bad, Kevin, and he also draws a high rate of fouls in there, too.
LeBron with it. Back to Bosch. From 18 feet away. Good, and the assist goes to LeBron. LeBron's now got assist number 8 here in this one already. Watson kicks to Stevenson. Mahimi over Bosch. The shot by Mahimi, no good.
And that's a shot he had to take.
For sure, it's a good decision, just poor execution.
And LeBron throws it down.
He's been a big part of his team building this lead. Another solid offensive effort.
Here's Watson. Hands it from downtown. Timeout called, the Heat.
Well, everybody knows about the big three in Miami with James, Bosch, and Wade. I think the question going forward with the new CBA really penalizing teams for going deep into the luxury tax, it'll be interesting to see how Miami handles that going forward, because those 3 guys make up the vast majority of their salary cap. So adding other players may be difficult.
And some changes here for the Pacers. Hibbert comes in for Mahimi. And it's West in for Luis Scola. The Heat leading by 22. We're in the final quarter of play here. 3 minutes in. Chalmers off the pick from Badia. Allen passes to Bosch. Here's LeBron. And their work on the board pays off with the second chance points. LeBron's now got 4 points in the quarter. The pass to West. Stolen by Bosch. And Chalmers kicks to Allen. Tries from 16. A shot by LeBron. No good. And as it's been for Miami in the first few years of the Big Three era, they've had to rely on vets coming in and not making too much money. They're trying to sell them on being a champion as opposed to getting fat in the wallet.
Yeah, and it'll continue to be like that, Kevin. There's just no other way it can happen because they really don't have a chance to add any additional big names because they've already got 3 of the biggest names that you could get. So it's about finding the right pieces to surround those guys and see if that's good enough to win a title. Boy, I love the way they've been attacking inside, Kevin.
All right, guys, they're getting a lot of points in the painted area, not settling for outside shots, and I don't see any reason to change strategy here. Where was he going with that pass? I mean, that's just an awful turnover.
Dwayne Wade's checked in for the Heat. The Pacers have gone 6 of 8 from the field in the fourth so far. It's been a great start to this final quarter for them. Hibbert dishes to Watson. Over Chalmers. Watson's shot is good. Watson's got 5 points now in the quarter.
We've seen some great shooting from him today. They've got to lean on him a little bit more.
Wade outside. It's Battier on the wing. And Chalmers kicks to Bosch. 6 on the shot clock. That's good from Battier on the assist by LeBron.
Tell you what, they haven't exactly been shy about letting it fly from deep here in the second half.
You know, Steve, if you have the lead, you can afford to be a little comfortable with the three-point shot. You just don't want to fall too much in love with it.
And the foul on Dwayne Wade. That is his first foul of the game.
Well, it was talked about quite a bit last season, and it could be coming up soon, where the NBA has considered putting advertisements on jerseys, like European soccer teams, golfers. Jersey sponsors, if you will, really will bring in a fortune in advertising.
And David West gets the whistle that time. That's foul number 2 for him.
Frustration foul there. You've got to maintain your composure.
Yeah, he lost his cool there, Steve. I mean, you can understand it, but you can't excuse it.
Greg Oden, he's checked in for Udonis Haslem. And Cole kicks to Beasley. Second chance shot, blocked. 1:30 left here in the fourth quarter. He feeds it to West. He's against Oden. West kicks to Watson. And now it's Allen running. He can go all the way.
Nice offensive play there, and this one's pretty much in the books, guys.
Yeah, I agree. You know what? It was a very good showing from them to come away with the win. I was very impressed.
Here's Watson. There's three-pointers off the mark. A lot of leagues around the world do it, Steve. As you were talking about with soccer and racing, you could imagine that there would be a long line of companies vying for a spot on jerseys.
Well, it's going to be a tough decision in the end, because I know the NBA feels like there's a purity involved when you don't sell out to a corporate logo. But my guess is that there will be a small logo on a jersey before too long. And as long as it doesn't become plastered all over the place, I think the fans will get accustomed to it right away.
And the first one drops.
Well, the Pacers continued to improve as a team last season, and part of that was just being a solid team in front of their home crowd. The Pacers had an excellent home record in Indianapolis, and that was one of the reasons they were able to fight their way into the playoffs.
And for the Pacers at 23-10 at home last season, most years you have a winning percentage like that at home. Clark, you're in good shape.
Yeah, and an improvement from the season before, too, Kevin. I mean, just a few extra wins at home can take you from being the 8 seed, as they were in 2011, to all the way up to the 3 seed, which is where they were last year.
20 seconds left to play here in the fourth. Lewis kicks to Anderson, and stolen by Hibbert. Stevenson passes to Hibbert. There's the dish to Stevenson. Over Lewis, and the basket by Stevenson. And so Miami takes this one by a big margin. Some days, Clark, everything goes right for a team, and they just had one of those games.
Yeah, it certainly was. I mean, these guys played a great all-around basketball game here.
And that about wraps it up for Clark Kellogg, Steve Kerr, and Doris Burke. This is Kevin Harlan thanking you for watching the NBA, presented by Tuda Sports. And now, Jordan presents our player of the game, LeBron James.
It's just a public service announcement sponsored by Just Blaze and the good folks at Rockefeller Records.